taking Miss McGarver. Robin doesn't know how to quit Miss McGarver. After he gets good, there's no more challenge. Mimi tells him to fix the handrail before she comes over for his piano lesson. Miss McGarver uses it and she might slip. Robin does nothing. He wants to get rid of her. Finally does when she finds out about him double timing her with an organist in Strawn. Dick doesn't realize Bubby came over for lunch, continues blowing through all the channels. Oh, that's I Love Lucy, click like a metronome. Bubby leaves, returns to find Dick still clicking, begins clicking himself in the day room. The channels keep cycling, no one is in control of either will. The fight in the church parking lot scheduled for 3. So far we have no participants. Football players won't let this slide. They'll get a rise out of somebody. Perhaps that new kid all the girls fawn over without knowledge of his inability to speak. Gravel pit. Grubby handfuls of Mr. T cereal parachute out there. He's supposed to break the worms in half. Instead, she pulls them into tiny segments, places one in her mouth. Legs slip through the moss layers, never touching water. Rusty takes a handful of fern and slops it at Sahan. Swipes he and Chun's suits, telling them they're Adam and Eve. Binocular dial goes from focus to unfocused to back to focus. Camouflaged by gear he stole from the Marines, Rick tells parents he's duck hunting. There's only 3 ducks on Gravel Pit Isle, always the same 3 ducks. While parents romp the pastures with 4-wheelers, kids spread over hay bales waiting for a push. And Crumb buys her first National Enquirer at Ernie's Super Red. Amelia Earhart's discovered on an uninhabited island. Crumb's waited 50 years for this moment. Bubby, he needs a haircut and 3 choices to choose from. Frank downtown with car seats and sports. Mike with the same haircuts and comics. Or drive an extra mile for Boris, who no one knows that well. His son built homes backwards without a license. If the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, how can we trust him with our hair? Frank's closed. Go with Mike's high and tight for 6, including tip. Bubby loves the way the back of his neck feels. Don't mind the mess. Cruddy dishes piled to the sky. Soiled laundry's waist high, creating a fortress around the bed. Doesn't bother Cusser one bit. Mary returns home from an 8-hour shift. All she wants to do is relax. Upon completion of his 3-hour paper route, Cusser relaxed all day. He's reclined nude beneath the throw too small. It's your turn. No, it's your turn. I worked all day. I'm sick of you. Why can't you pick up after yourself? Oh, and you do? Most of that shit's yours. Those dishes are yours too. I ate off of paper plates. Besides, I have to take care of your fucking kid. What kid? You know, Putnell or whatever the fuck its name is this week. Why don't you get out of here? I've been trying to kick you out for 2 months now. How do you plan on living by yourself, Cusser? I pay all the bills. Fine, I'm going to my mother's. A little cough here and there. Uncle Robin's mass increases over decades unnoticed. Mimi brews 1 cup of coffee in her 1 cup of coffee maker. Chelsea, Jimmy, and Jagger drag a goat out of the cell barn. After rolling over it, they leave a tagged skull in the Hudson's front yard. Bubby's boot camp. Bubby slides beneath the brush, entering reconnaissance. The minuscule grass, kindling, and dirt are at the macro. Ants are the minis to observe. He falls asleep after 10 minutes. Uncle Rick grabs his ankles from behind and drags him back into the real world. The fatigues, shell casings, and rations Uncle Rick pilfered from the Marines before his discharge are issued to Bubby. This gives him the confidence to go after Predator. G2 menu rotates. Aren't those boys big? They must have ate their Wheaties. Lisa gives a service they don't give anymore. Yep, weather. Chun calls Crumb for crossword clues. Hissy's homecoming. Hissy's back from Israel. She never tells anyone why she goes or why she doesn't make paintings from postcards like the ones she does from Indiana. Hangs up her wobbly hat with all the rest. Passes paint by number, Carver bridges, vegetation in the 4 seasons. Pulls up a chair next to Dick, his mouth like a typewriter popping corn of the cob. Hissy's bends over and digs in, leans back, creating a racket from eating too fast. No one else seems to notice because she repeats this process. After she's finished gagging, Crumb's investigating the paw print on her pie as Mimi sticks a drumstick in and pulls a bone out. How can they allow cats in this house, Crumb wonders. Hissy's done. She shoots up and asks Tudis why she's so big. Tudis mumbles, well, I'm pregnant. Hissy doesn't hear her. She's halfway to Jolly's for more postcards. American history. The yellow parchments need to be laminated again. Yogi places him atop a turbine projector, tells class to copy, retires to desk nodding off, sporadically comments about crickets that are actually spitwads flying across the room. Everyone's parents copied these notes as well as their parents and their children. Each fingertip a balled off, separated to the extent. Eagles room full of rowdies pretending to read. Butch uses books as a spittoon. Maynard the floor. Springman's excited about fighting Pam Anderson on the internet. Peekaboo by the most prominent tree. Chen takes one to the head from Don's latest game. Fast food. Surfboard goes in the back seat over laps. Unlatch the foot pedals, fold the seat, and heave it up and in the trunk. The happy Hudsons are going to McDonald's. It's a 30-minute speechless ride. Seems like forever. Chen tries to understand Bob and Tom and something about Amish men remaking rock classics. Number one with the Coke for Chen and Don. That's what men get. Number two, no onions in a Diet Coke for Swan and he. That's what women get. No one can eat in the car, but Don can smoke, so they smell cigarettes, grease, and brood all the way home. All the rulings go against the defendants, sent to community service, receiving none. Their director retired last month. Rotary phone rings at least 8 times before Crumb picks up the receiver with her left hand, missing a fingernail. A mower got a hold of it. Uncle Paul bellows on the other line. He can't hear. Crumb increases in volume until reaching a holler. Paul says, "Why are you yelling at me?" Out in Crumb's front yard, Chun picks daisies. Beth loves me, she loves me not. Crumb needs a fence. Phones Willet crap. This is Willet crap. I'll be over in the morning. Crumb waits all morning. She phones Willet. Forget your fence. Don't do me like that, Madge. Fence up before she wakes up. Taking Miss McGarver. Fruitus is old enough to take Miss McGarver. Mimi dresses him up with a red suit and a bow tie. At recital, he pulls the bench out a little and sits on the edge staring at the music for a couple of minutes and turns around. That's all, folks. Kessler flies by Mary on Warwick. She asks, "Do I know you?" Snoop twists Boo Boo's nipples. His car on blocks. Classrooms cleared out. Favorite coffee mug he won from Marlboro Point cemented to desk. Room in the Plymouth backseat safe with Dick driving. Face on the glass. Telephone lines appear every half a second. Floating in his right eye, rides atop the lines. Sometimes he pictures Dick out there with a chainsaw cutting them down. Mary in a drive-thru. Pappy thinks Kyra might be interested in him because she'll see the size of his paycheck. Sticks the paycheck in the tube, zoom. Can I see some ID? ID in the tube, zoom. Thank you, have a good day. Cash in the tube along with a dum-dum. Sure. One more. We'll do the best one. Okay. Hoosiers. Barbara Hershey's a bitch. Breeze Mimi the Dick in line dressed up as Andy Griffith. 2,000 odd residents made to look like the bygone era. Wheelchairs traded for wooden ones. When the gym fills, the 1954 state championship game begins, this time filmed for a movie. They picked this locale because it's untouched since the time of the first game. The name's chosen because no one knows. Passed on stories, an ear was found on the floor after a bloody barroom ball. Whose ear? After years of asking them, become Hoosiers with goals in each drive or bottomless crates nailed to trees serving his goals. Meat Boy's been practicing on his all morning. It's time to show them. Out of all the youngsters, sports stars, and the most beautiful, he's selected to shoot the free throws at the end.